Right, I hope we're live. You know the drill, guys. Let me know in the chat. Also, Recluse is here, David Strom's here, Jack Brokenshire, Peter Carter. How's it going, guys? Everyone had a good Christmas? It's an absolute blur for me. Food, kids, alcohol, you know the drill. Thumbs up, love that, Peter. We must be good. FPL Panic, I'm live. Red Arrow, yo. Luke Porteous, and it's live. Alright guys, the hardcore click. It's better than watching Spurs, right? To be fair, I haven't actually watched the game at all. Hi Mo FPL. So it could be a good game, but I wouldn't have expected it to be. Maybe it is. God, that was a mad game week 7 though, wasn't it? Results in front of us, not one clean sheet. Mental. But I think you guys are going to see once we go into the games, we probably could have had a lot more goals. The games were very, very open, lots of shots from teams, and if anything, most of the games actually disappointed. And in terms of fantasy assets, or at least the popular players, I don't think many did very well, did they? My team certainly didn't do great. I can't remember what I got in the end, but it was 47 average. I think I got bang on the average, which is obviously, you know, I'll take it with the dead team all day. But you know, there was just some crazy scorers and stuff. Well, not crazy. I think most of them were fairly predictable, but just one of them weeks. Just one of them weeks. The beauty of season 1 is we had these weeks quite often, but because we had a game week within 2 days, you quickly forgot them. And obviously now it's a different thing. We're a whole week to sort of sit on it. But yeah, it was a great stream, wasn't it? Irons, man, hilarious. Those two guys are smashing it. Right, I don't want this to be 3 hours long, so I shall dive into it. Arsenal and Charlton. Absolute destruction from Arsenal B. David got 35. Wow. Yeah, I saw some shockers about. Charlton had one shot on target and it went in, which I said in the comms as well. One of those days for Arsenal. Again, it's similar with the theme of Arsenal, really, isn't it? That they create a lot of chances, have a lot of shots, but struggle to put the ball away. You know, Bergkamp should have scored. Fasidas, Lundberg, all could have done better. Charlton, there was literally nothing to talk about. I mean, they're away to Arsenal. You're not expecting anything. As they're largely whipping boys, I would have expected them to lose by more. Yeah, it would have been a fantastic game for Omri. You would have thought. I mean, I swear he scored a hat-trick in this game, season 1. Yeah, you'd have put money on him to get something similar in this, wouldn't you? Or maybe not. Going by how Henry seems to be trolling us. But decent game. Could have been more goals in that one. Definitely. Villa Newcastle. As we can see from the stats here, Villa was 7 shots on target to Newcastle's 2. 59% possession for Villa to 41 Newcastle. They left it late, scoring in the 90th minute, but they deserved it. If you look at Newcastle's stats, Shearer did his thing, won his headers and stuff, but only 1 shot on target and scored it. Dyer with his piece of magic is 1 assist, but the rest of the guys not really showing up. And for Villa, the centre-backs Barry and Melberg cope with the long ball. I think when you play, someone's mentioned it before actually, when you play against Newcastle, especially if you're at home to Newcastle, you're going to get peppered with long balls, so the centre-backs got even more chance to win key headers, but especially when they're, you know, Melberg and Barry. Barry's got 17 for jumping, I think. Yeah, 17, so decent in the air, and that's how it goes sometimes. Balaban probably unlucky not to score a little bit more. Angel's been pretty decent, hasn't he? Ticking away. 5 goals in 7 games. Not bad at all. Decent average rating. Yeah, Peter Carter saying Maniga getting the nod above right on the bench. Yeah, I may as well address this now, but we're going to address it every week, I think. I have no logical reason for why Craig Holloway's starting. Like, most of the things in this game, you feel like you can work them out, and there's certain systems in place. But I know for a fact, because I've looked, Holloway's rep and ability is lower than Manigat and Wright, and he's still starting. And I literally have no idea why. No clue. So at the moment he's playing every game and playing in Champions League. Will it continue? I genuinely don't know, but that's 4 league games and 4 continental games. Could be in a row. So I guess you have to, you have to think he will, but I wouldn't be surprised if at any moment it changed, put it that way. But normally I've got the rules that I can base it on in terms of rep and ability, and here I don't have those rules, so anything I give you would just be, just useless information essentially. Leeds and Chelsea. Leeds finally scoring some goals. Been very unlucky of late. It's always strange, because the Simmers knew that this game Leeds was a good game playing Chelsea. But it's kind of like one of those FPL games where you wouldn't have captained a Leeds player, right? And it's like a top of the table clash or top half table clash. When Leeds have been playing some minnows and not scoring. But it just shows you about the matchup because of the way Chelsea set up in this game. Playing on this defensive mentality, they basically just sit back, and that gives the other team the platform, and most of the time they will take their opportunity. Viduka was unlucky not to score another goal. Lots of key headers. He only had 2 shots, 1 on target, but the other one crashed off the bar. Yeah, this is more of what you expect from Leeds. And despite them rotating a lot, they've still got some very good players for key games, and I still like a lot of them. Still like Lee Bower at 6.5 million. I think that's a great price. Not really done much, but maybe he's heating up now. Chelsea, again the stats away from home aren't going to be great. Desai did pretty good. Terry did pretty good on his return. Ultimately they shipped 3 goals though, didn't they? Forward wise, Good Johnson's ticking along. 2 goals, 3 assists in 7 games. It's not the worst, is it? 7.71, odd bit of bonus. Probably want a little bit more for his price, but he's still not doing too bad. Number of forwards doing well. They're so consistent, the forwards. The only thing is this week, a lot of the popular forwards didn't return, and here's one of them, One Shop. How this guy didn't return, I'm not sure. It was 3-1 to Ipswich, but Man City, 16 shots, 8 on target. 12 for Ipswich, 7 on target. This game could have been like 5-3 to City, really. I'm glad it wasn't, because I couldn't fit the goals in as it was in the first half. Man City with more possession as well. If we look here in the key stats, we can see that One Shop had 6 shots, 5 on target, 5 key headers. Should really have returned. So if you've got him for this game, you're just unlucky, I think. Danny Tiatto, Auto Recluse, is he the best City asset? I think he's one of the best midfielders in the game. Originally I had him at 8 million. I dropped him down just because I dropped we dropped quite a few of the midfielders down by 0.5 that people wouldn't really know who they are and would kick off a promoted team midfielder being so expensive. But he's essentially Petkov in a slightly better team, so I think he's 0.5 better. Look at this. He's returned in every single game he's played so far, but he also comes with decent average rating, which Petkov sometimes struggles to get. So, he's 0.5 more than Petkov for a reason. These were my 2 favourite midfielders coming into the start of the season, actually, for their prices. Just couldn't fit him into my dead team. I preferred the defenders. So, yeah, if you look at him in isolation, I still think he's a good option. I don't know what their fixtures are like, but like anything really with midfielders, it's home games and good fixtures. You've got the best chance for them to return. So, I'm not sure what their fixtures are like, but I do like him as an option for sure. And I'm pretty sure he's on penalties. Which is good. MoFPL, Forsell for the next games can be a good option. If Forsell ever gets the shirt, I really like him, and usually gets it towards the end of the season a little bit more, or start to come into it. He is probably their best goal scorer in all the players they've got in their team. But it's that old thing of will he get played? I think it's too much of a risk at the moment, unfortunately. But because Jimmy's gone, there's one less option, obviously. Another game here where, yes, it was 2-2. We expected this to be chaos. We expected Kevin Phillips to do well, or I did at home to Spurs. Didn't do well. But 12 shots, 9 on target, 15 and 9 for Spurs. You know, going by the ratio we normally have, we're looking at 3-3, 4-4, 5-5 there or something, aren't we? So probably less goals than the stats suggested. Sunderland were the better team, but they're at home, home advantage. Phillips only 1 shot, 1 on target. This guy's been... he scored a brace in game week 1. Trust me, I noticed because he's in my dead team. And then he's 2 goals in 6 games since. It's not really good enough because he's had some decent games in there. I don't doubt he was an option because I love my forwards that come with penalties, because any game he can just randomly score 2, like even away from home. He's obviously nailed on. So yeah, I don't doubt that come the end of the season he'll be, you know, in the top 3 or 4 for goals scored. But at the moment it's just a bit frustrating. You'd have liked him to do well in this game. Arca continues to be great. He's not touched left back yet. He's only played at left midfield. One of the rare midfielders like Tiato that comes with bonus in midfield. 2 goals, 2 assists, man of the match. I think that's still pretty good value. You know, he's quite explosive. If we'd have made him a defender, it would have been a 9-man game with Van Nistelrooy as well. Everyone would have had him, especially if Sunderland have actually started keeping some clean sheets this season. So it would have been ridiculous. Plus, he just doesn't play in defence, so still like him a lot. Yeah, Tome did pretty well on the key stats as usual. So did Issa. Teal very unlucky not to score 6 shots, 3 on target. You guys know I love me some Teal, but seems to be perennially unlucky. Spurs, Simon Davies, 5 shots, 2 on target. You know, not a game you would back a midfielder to score in particularly. But yeah, he's another one of those guys I really like at that price who just ticks along all season. You know, a shot goes in there, he gets a set piece assist. Suddenly you're on for a haul. So I still really like him. Dean Richards was absolutely immense. And Chris Perry, 20 for injury proneness, went off. One thing that really aided in this game, I think, for Arca doing well is obviously that Spurs only really have one person out wide, and that was Darren Anderson. If you remember, Darren Anderson was on 70%. He was fit, but he had low condition to start the game. So he was tired. And obviously he's playing against Arca on the left wing, where they've got this almost a double up with Gray pushing up. So he's having to track Arca the whole game, and both the goals came from Arca ghosting into the box and scoring 2 headers. Ryan Nurse, glad Davies didn't score because I had him on my bench that game week. Yeah, that would be frustrating. But it's one of these games that's really open because look, Spurs are attacking and Sunderland are attacking, and it's rare away teams attack. So these are the kind of games where it's always risky to bench any of your attacking players. Because, yeah, on another day Spurs could just win that 4-0, for example, or get battered 4-0. Evening Glasgow. Blackburn and Bolton. This is probably the dullest game of all of them. But still 4 shots on target each. You know, maybe a few more goals. Close on the possession. Yeah, in terms of the stats here, the ball went up top. Might happen quite often this season. I expect De Boer will basically play here, or here in this formation all the time. They obviously prefer Janssen and AMC to De Boer, so it ends up being De Boer up top. They don't have another forward really. Yeah, Fortune's doing well, isn't he? You're right, Ragus, yeah. There's a lot of under the radar picks, I think. De Boer's only got 1 goal and 1 assist, but if he's going to play playing up front and he's 6 million and he's nailed, he suddenly is slightly more appealing, I think. What else was of note? Solano won loads of key headers here, which is strange for a right winger. So it might be that he was forced to defend, or it might be that they did the whole rotation thing where maybe Solano went into AMC or he went on the left and De Boer maybe came back and switched positions. Normally you only get headers really at centre back or a centre forward. You get a few in centre midfield, so I wouldn't be surprised if he got moved around during the game. We're just never going to know. Berg, loads of key tackles. He's doing better than I think he's doing better than Weatherall for average rating. He is. Weatherall's been poor for average rating this season, which is strange because he was a beast last season. Berg's putting him to shame. Curtis as well, was pretty good. Yeah, 4-1 to Manchester United. So this is a team that was, I mean, they were efficient, Man United. Most of the teams haven't been this week. That's pretty efficient, I would say. And Derby, that's not too bad. I mean, you know, definitely worth a goal, I would say. And, you know, pushed Man United fairly close. Valakari is just, we've mentioned him every week, isn't it? It's just, he's the most boring pick in the world, but it's like him and Dennis Wise, like the two most boring picks ever, but by the end of the season, you wonder why you never had him in your team. Lescott was very good in the air. Barry Nicholson's another 4.5 million midfielder that was added to the game. He's got 1 assist now in 4. Bonus is not great, but when you're playing in this role, you've always got a chance of doing alright for average rating and getting the odd assist. So, you know, it might be better than some of the other 4.5 million midfielders out there. For Manchester United, Chadwick was immense. 3 key passes, you know, 2 assists. He is actually great for a winger. Pace, balance, agility, acceleration, dribbling. You know, it's everything that Beckham doesn't have, basically. Beckham's like the anti-Chadwick. And Beckham's obviously great, but wingers in this game are supposed to come with those stats. Beckham is one of these anomaly players that can do well on the wing despite not having those stats. It's mostly due to his delivery and set pieces. But yeah, Chadwick's stats are coming along nicely, capped on a B team level, so I would expect he will come in for Beckham. And he's already done it twice, I think, reasonably regularly. So I do think if you're not getting, you know, if you want a Manchester United midfielder and you can't afford Varane, then I always preferred Giggs to Beckham anyway, but I feel like now because Chadwick's a bigger threat to Beckham, you go Giggs every time. And yeah, it's not just after brace. He is great, Giggs. He's just never really shown it in our sim, but he can be ridiculous. Everton Watford 2-2. Another one of these games I was telling you about. Look at this: 14 shots, 12 on target from Everton. Unbelievable. 13 and 5 in an away game for Watford. That's not bad either. Could have had way more goals in this one as well. 53%. Everton are just, you know, they were a boring team that no one wanted any assets, and now a lot of people have got assets from them for the 4 home games and the cheap prices. But it's more than that. They're actually like an okay side now. You know, now they've got a little bit of structure to their team. And Kevin Campbell's playing 4 shots, 4 on target, 4 and 3 for Gravison. Yeah, normally wingers do very good versus Derby. You're right, Murphy. Definitely something we've picked up on a lot. This formation's not as bad as the other one. I think you guys know the other one I'm talking about. They used to play more often, but it's still pretty bad. And I think any formation when there's only one person out wide is bad against AI, because we know the AI love to create their chances from out wide. Absolutely love it. So having 2 players out wide is good, which is counter to when you actually play the game, because you want narrow formations to do well. That's where all the cheap formations are, because the AI plays out wide. Yeah, GX has made Everton a better side. Yeah, definitely. Very decent option. Kevin Campbell, can't argue with this at the moment. Cheap strikers filling the role. Gravison's one of these strange players where I know anyone can do it, but I've seen seasons where he gets like 15 assists. Maybe he might be on to one of those for a change. Arnsworth, I still think he's leading the way in terms of tackles for the league. Average rating of 8 so far from 6 games. Pretty damn good. Watford, I mean, 6 shots, 3 on target for Helgeson. Arguably could have got another. Petkov didn't do much apart from his assist from a free kick, which will have been his key pass. But yeah, don't expect anything from in an away game, do you? Leicester Middlesbrough, crazy game. All these goals early on. But yeah, another team that were pretty efficient. Decent for away though. Only 1 goal for Leicester. Could argue that should be more as well, couldn't you? Leicester with more of the possession. Middlesbrough just the better players. Leicester did a little bit of a rep rotation in this one, I think. We've been playing Matt Heath at centre back. He's got 20 for long shots as a centre back. 11 for jumping. It's not quite as bad as Gary Monk and the likes, but it's not far off. It's one of those ones where had we have known that Matt Heath is playing in this game, then Rickard and Boxic are a handful for anyone, and suddenly a few people sold them. I think Rory sold Boxic, for example, for this game. You'd hold them all day if you know that, right? And the rest of them rotate a few options. Played Walker in goal, instead of Tim Flowers, even rotated him. Yeah, Delaney's not been the best buy, no, but he's doing all right for average rating. He's not bad, and his tackles is high, and so he still can take the odd set piece because of this 20. And I still think he's a good 4.5 option. We're only 7 games in. Any standout forward million defender options is only Galley. I think that's the only one. Did he play in this game? Yeah. 6 games, 7.50. Decent tackles. He's going to get you the odd bonus point if you have to play him. I wouldn't touch anyone else. I wouldn't touch Haas. It's only injuries that is the reason that Haas is playing. Normally Lawson will play here. And then it's either Medina who plays here, or who's the other one I'm completely missing? Ardley. Ardley's injured. Who's nailed. 2 weeks he's back. So yeah, Haas won't play. Or shouldn't. I won't say won't play because this is CM and people like Holloway turn up for no apparent reason. Middlesbrough, Boxic is an animal this season. Absolute animal. People were saying, oh, he's old, he's getting old. I told you, age doesn't mean anything in this game. If their stats have gone into decline, that's different. But some people don't decline until later on, and his stats are not in decline. You can see they're pretty much the same, or if not better, from when you start the game. He's hardly injured. Oh god, you're filling in for Cole. 7 games, 5 goals, 1 assist, 2 man of the match, 8.43. Very good from Boxic. Rickard only got an 8 despite scoring 2 goals. He did get the assist, but obviously we credit them because he won a free kick, which Cepeda scored. So obviously that's another reason why he wasn't really in the bonus. But also he didn't actually do much. Key stats, he had none. He didn't win any headers really, tackles, no key passes, but scored a couple of goals. So yeah, you're not going to argue that. Southgate again, despite the yellow, still managed to get a 9. Shipped a goal. The key stats are there. I love me some Gareth. So good. I think Cepeda, along with Tiato and Petkov, is the guy who, I don't expect it to continue at this rate, but the way the Middlesbrough team is so good, and we keep saying that right wing spot that ends up with them potentially switching around with Rickard, because Rickard can play on right wing. Pirlo's beard. If I'm 33, if Boxer's old is 32, then I'm rightly fucked. Yeah, you're fucked as well, mate. I don't think anyone's going to be signing you. We're talking about Premier League this stuff at the moment. Yeah, I still think of myself as young and I could do a job, and then I realise I'm 37 and would probably throw up within 2 minutes and had to get hooked. Yes, what was it saying? Cepeda. I still think Cepeda. You could argue you could have a team, if you can get a team with, because midfielders, I think they're amongst the highest scoring players at the moment. Someone have to have a look at the website, but I swear if you sort by the top 20 scorers, a lot of them are midfielders, which I didn't expect. So Cepeda, Petkov, Tiato, midfield 3, maybe GX, and then a 4.5. Sounds pretty damn sexy to me. Darren Eady had been retired 7 years by your age. He's retired in this game apparently. I tipped him to actually do pretty well this season. He's done fuck all. Been pony. Millwall Liverpool, another game where we should have had more goals, shouldn't we? Interesting, Millwall actually played attacking in this game. They usually, if they play a team that is of a high enough reputation, they won't play attacking at home. But because Millwall have got quite a high reputation in our sim, and Liverpool's is probably a little bit lower, it was just on that cusp where it didn't see Liverpool as a tough game, which is a bad error, because then they got battered. So I think, for example, CM Fantasy's data had Millwall saying they'd set up to defend, but this is the thing with those things, is like, you know, if it's not exactly our sim and our data, these levels change all the time, and some teams are on the cusp, so it can make a big difference. Mentality makes a massive difference. It's not a criticism of him at all. It's impossible to get it correct, and in most cases Millwall will set up that way against a strong opponent, but not in this case. So as a result, Liverpool, who are also attacking, this meant it was a crazy open game, but in usual Liverpool style, they kind of just, you know, limp over the line rather than battering someone. But you know, an away win in this game is tough for anyone. Stephen Reed, 4.5 million defender. Again, if he was nailed, he'd be in everyone's team, I think. He's just not, unfortunately. Yeah, no one else really stood out here, did they? For Liverpool, Fowler with 2 assists. It's like 20 for decision making. So often, you know, it's annoying for owners because he doesn't really score or shoot that much, but he's not bad as a creative forward, which you would think would mean that Owen would be quite prolific, but for whatever reason, he doesn't. He's also got 20 for decisions and teamwork 20 and stuff like that. They all just, I think they tried to be like Arsenal, essentially, of old. They used to just tart around passing it to each other in the 6-yard box, but no one actually finish it. There was an error of where Arsenal did that for a while, isn't it? And I think that Liverpool's forwards are very much like that. But he did good in this game. And that's your lot. So as you can see, loads of goals, but arguably we could have had a lot more. A lot more. No one played in any cups or anything, did they? Nope. Did we already see this? This is where I need my ringman Andy because I'm useless on fixtures. Yeah, we'd already seen that. Right, let's do the teams. So we'll look for all the teams, see the injuries and stuff, then we'll go through player stats, and then we'll do a quick preview of the next week. Everyone plays on the same day. They're about to play all the games at the same time. So hopefully whatever conditions, injuries, status, everything you see should exactly be that way. We shouldn't get any, you know, phantom injuries on the way to the ground or any of that nonsense. So Arsenal picked up a few injuries in that game. I don't think anyone's got Lundberg, but he's out for 10 days with a bruised thigh. Albertini's still out for 2 weeks. Moritz Volts, stub toe, 10 days. Poor bastard. Everyone else is okay, including Mr. Rep 12 Henri. Aston Villa, no great shakes here. Everyone's pretty good. It's just Steve Stone is 46% tired. So as he's under 70, he won't be playing. I would imagine that means Hadji comes in, who's not a bad player. So maybe 1 game punt or something's there. Oh, Wolves just nicked a goal, did they? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Who scored? Saiss, Neto assist. Okay, okay. Serves them right. Playing for 1-0s all the time. Blackburn. The biggest news here really is that Tony Adams is tired as well. Oh, he's on 55%, so he won't be playing. Everyone else is good. Bolton, these guys don't ever play, so I'm not even going to click them. Everyone is grand. Charlton, everyone available. Chelsea, also the same. Where's the chaos? So here you go, Scream. I don't know, guys, I don't know. Derby, Strooper, 1 week with a groin strain. Yeah, it's nice for Berg, yeah, Mo. Jody Morris is 82%. Fit enough to play? Will he? I don't know. Maybe not. Nice to see some Makoko action. Everton, Duncan Ferguson's out for a week with a bruised thigh. Incredibly injury prone. So that should help Kevin Campbell because he's not completely nailed. But yeah, that means one of the other guys, the numerous forwards that they've got, will have to fill in up top. Probably Brzezinski. GX is 95, he's good. Ipswich, all on 100%. Clapham starts his suspension for 3 games. So this bloke can come in, or Tweaker can go to left wing back. If they play wing backs, what game are they playing? Oh, they're away. Yeah, sometimes they play a back 5 in away games. John McGreal, 2 weeks with a damaged neck. Leeds, also all gravy. Dewberry, 3 months, torn groin. Leicester, most of them very good. Scowcroft is still orange, few days with a twisted knee. Came on last game, so could start or come off the bench again. None of these guys even play, so Liverpool. Now, did this happen in the last match? He was already injured, wasn't he? Bishgan 2. Oh yeah, he got injured in the 1-0 win over Watford. 2 weeks with a groin strain. He's still out. Everyone else good. Jamie Redknapp is wanted by Watford. I think it was Ipswich and Watford before that. So Ipswich seemed to have dropped out. So if he goes to Watford, you'd imagine he'll replace Glass in centre midfield. He's the guy who plays there most of the time. Is Fanidi still wanted actually? Let me check Fanidi. Yeah, Fanidi's still wanted by Leeds and Liverpool. Just bring up my other page that reminds me all this stuff. Okay, there's a few transfer rumours to fill you in at the end. Man City, still not the best. Scotty Rowell, 2 weeks. McNamara, a few days, 90%. Colissimo's tired, 56%. And Paul Ritchie's 1 day, 90%. Everyone else is good. Manchester United, Roy Keane, was he injured last game? Yeah, he was injured last game, wasn't he? So he's now orange rather than red. Still out for a week with a twisted knee. Everyone's fine. Middlesbrough. I would love to go to Watford. They're a top club. Middlesbrough, a little bit of news, I guess. Ian Pearce went off. No, he didn't go off injured. He went off in training, did he? It was beforehand. It was the other week, I'm pretty sure. So Ian Pearce is still injured. Which means that Faster will probably be centre back and Gordon left back. You would imagine. And Boxic is 88%. So this is the thing with Boxic. Doesn't always recover in the best way. But that's still more than high enough to start. I would imagine he does. And the old early sub thing is possible. Is XG still flagged? You mean GX? GX was he was never flagged. The website just highlights people who are slightly low condition. It's confusing, I know, because they highlight it in yellow, so you think he's an injured, but he's not. He just had slightly low condition, but it was never low enough for him not to play. He's 95%. Will we ever see Les Ferdinand play? I wouldn't have thought so. I wouldn't have thought so. His time is done. Millwall, Nethercott is injured for 3 months with a torn groin muscle. Now that is of a little bit of interest, I guess, because you know, he isn't nailed though himself, but it just means that there are other 4 millions that could now come into it. Most of the time, you're going to have one of Corrigan or Bertram end up at centre back anyway. But you know, it means that some of the players could come in. You know, Joe Dolan's one of them. So you could take a punt. I mean, I wouldn't, but if you're on wildcard or something, I still have Galley, but got to try and make it interesting for you boys overnight. Newcastle are totally fine. Steve Chettle is wanted by QPR. Just strut his stuff and walk off. Aaron Hughes wanted by Wolves still. Sunderland, again, everyone is cool. Ardley's 2 weeks away. Swartz long term 5 months. Is Corrigan nailed? He's pretty nailed, yeah. Has he played every game? Maybe he's missed one or something. No, he's played every game. Yeah, I wouldn't see why not, because he was purchased, you know, so decent high rep, one of their better defenders as a result. You know, played in the Premier League, played for Scotland. Yeah, I'd say he's nailed. But you've got a Millwall defender, he's not going to be scoring 2 goals every week. I think there's better options. Although I've not looked at their fixtures. The fixtures are pretty shit. But get better around here. That's a nice little run here, isn't it? Bolton home, Newcastle, Charlton, Everton, Derby, Villa. Yeah, not too bad there. You'd love him just for the Peep Show reference. Well, that I can understand. That I can get behind. Spurs, even they are looking pretty good considering most of their players are injury prone. Aaron Anderton's back up. Condition wise, it's just Perry, 10 days with a broken toe. You know, he's definitely one of their better defenders. So Leeds away, not a good game. So yeah, you'd expect them to ship a few goals in that one. Could see Doherty play at centre back. Again, he's been doing alright. And finally, Watford. Just Cox. Few days. Orange flagged. Percent wise, everyone else is good. Probably the most boring injury wise. I think all the main ones we already knew about. What were the highlights? Pierce still injured, Boxic 88%. That's about it, isn't it? Was that Jack Black for Spurs? Where is he? Jonathan Black. Sorry to disappoint. Right, let's have a look at the stats quickly. So here's your team table. Middlesbrough, Man United, Liverpool, Leeds, Bolton, all conceded not too many. Your Derbys and Charltons right up there along with City as well for goals conceded. Home record. Away records. Arsenal. Shocking. Player stats. So average rating attackers. We got Van Nistelrooy, Boksic, Shearer, York and Wanchop in the top 5. Good Johnson's creeping up. Angel. Midfielders, Veron, Chadwick, Tiato, Gardner, Zepeda. Defenders, Gareth on his own at the moment, and Silvestre, Unsworth, Hippier, Desai, Cooper. Quite a few Middlesbrough defenders in there, isn't there? And there's your goalies. Goals scored, defenders, Hart, Corrigan, Doherty, Hippier at the top, up there on 2. Midfielders, Miller, thanks to his two separate braces from Cameo. Oh no, one of them he started, I think. There's Holland. A lot of people started with him. Somehow ends up there for goals. We already did Man United and Chadwick Glasto. He'll get the odd game, but he's not ahead of Beckham. So it'll more be a targeted one, I think. Like if you know Chadwick's playing, like the leak was this week, he's a great option. But unfortunately, he's just going to take up a Man United spot in your team and rarely play. So I really wouldn't do that. Shearer leading the way for goals. Van Nistelrooy, then Boksic and Angel. Kevin Campbell doing just as well as Phillips. Van Nistelrooy, yeah, his average rating is obviously incredibly high, but 7 goals, 7 games. I mean, he's had really good games as well. I'd probably expect that to be higher. It's not been that great overall, but as good as you could hope for. Let's look at assists quickly. There's forwards, they don't really do assists, but there they are. Midfielders, George Boateng, 7, 1 goal, 4 assists, man of the match. Low average rating, but under the radar somewhat. Michael Gray. There we go. Still early days though, guys. Assist for Carlo Nash. Dribbles per game. Gardner's just taking the piss out of everyone else. Still not getting me many points though. Tackles per game. Taggart, Petit, Unsworth. It's the first time your differential captain was outscored by him. Oh, interesting. Yellow cards. Right. Yeah. I don't run Sims, So I don't really know. I just go from my knowledge of the game really and what their tactics will be like. You know, there's loads of guys, I mention it every week on my Discord in the community. CM Fantasy runs videos that people watch, so I would check those out. But I can just give you an overview. There are only, to my knowledge, 3 teams this week that will play with defensive mentality. Every other away team, because a home team never plays with it, will be normal or attacking. And I feel like the 3 games which have the defensive mentality will be Arsenal, Man United. So Man United will play defensively and give the game up essentially. As will Spurs to Leeds, and Millwall will to Sunderland. They're the only 3 teams that will do that. So for me, those are the teams that you arguably want to target as in the home teams. So Arsenal, Sunderland and Leeds for your most reliable source of returns, because I guess it's just like real life. You know, you have Newcastle roll up and play Man City. They're just going to sit back and let the other team have the ball, and eventually they should end up scoring a few goals. It doesn't always work that way, just like real football, but it gives you the most opportunity. So yeah, Arsenal, Man United, I expect Arsenal to win this game. Man United can still score, but 2-1, 3-1, something like that. You know, occasionally they'll do a job on them, you know, and Man United might win 1-0, but you have to go with the odds. Villa, Middlesbrough, close game. I think this is a tough one. Villa are good at home, but Middlesbrough have been very good away. Can't separate them, so when I can't separate, I always go with home advantage. So I think Villa might do them. Yeah, Mo's saying Rude will score with 1 shot against Holloway. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt that in the 92nd minute. Like clockwork, yeah. I think I've been very dull this season. Apart from the Veron masterclass in a couple of games, maybe. They've been pretty dull, haven't they? Although the last one was 4-1. Blackburn and Ipswich again. Very hard to call, but Blackburn at home, so I would say Blackburn win. Possibility of a clean sheet in that one. Ipswich are a bit random with their goals scored, but generally aren't great away from home, especially to a team like Blackburn who can actually defend. So if you've got a Blackburn defender, I wouldn't be shipping them for that game. Charlton versus Watford. This could be a really fun game. I'm pretty sure Watford attack away in this one. So this is your game outside of those 3 that I've mentioned where it just could be chaos. I wouldn't be benching a Watford player if you got him. Like you got Petkov or anything, I wouldn't bench him. Likewise, Charlton assets. If you've got Brian Hughes, I think Jason Ewell's a great option this week. I would be doing everything I could to really play these guys because I expect there to be goals in that game. Neither team can defend, and I say both on attacking, so it should be pretty open. Derby and Bolton. Again, quite evenly matched. Hard to call. I go home advantage again. Derby probably edge it. Probably both teams to score. That should be the general mantra. Can't call this game. Home team probably get there and both teams to score. That's pretty much CM in a nutshell for virtually every game. Would I bench Ashley Cole? It depends who for, but home defender in a game with the opposite teams being defensive? Maybe not. It's only the Holloway thing. Who for? Let me know who for. Mo saying Ewell my man this game week. Yeah, I think Jason Ewell could do good this week. Really do. Everton versus Newcastle. Again, I think Everton will win that game. I think they should do. Obviously Shearer, he's always there and liable to score, but long ball tactics away from home, don't like it. Everton should win that game. Leeds and Spurs. I say Spurs will try to play defensive and give the game up, but they're not particularly good at it. I don't like three defenders, 3 centre backs in this game, especially when trying to play defensive. So I think Leeds will win comfortably. Spurs could score easy. Well, not easy, because Leeds are pretty good at home, but they've got good players, Spurs, so they could get a goal. But yeah, I think Leeds maybe win that 3-4 goals maybe. So Viduka, great option I think. Leicester home to Chelsea. I really hope that Chelsea can do well because I've got double Chelsea defence who've yet to get me. Have they got me a clean sheet? Yeah, I don't think they have. Well, Terry's been banned for 3 of them. But if any, you know, for an away game, they've got a reasonable chance. Just Leicester at home, direct attacking they'll be. Chelsea will be on normal. So I think Leicester will score. That'll be a tight game. 1-1 maybe. Man City and Liverpool. Tough game. Again, another 1-1 maybe. Liverpool will set up attacking in this game because Man City are low rep. So Man City could score as a result of Liverpool being so open. So I don't think you know, their forwards are the worst thing to have. You know, Tiato, One-Shop and Huckabee, etc. And then Sunderland home to Millwall. So Millwall will set up defensive in this game. I'd like to think Sunderland will batter them. Millwall low on the sim data. You know, across the 10 seasons that we did for goals scored, goals conceded, bottom for everything. Started to look that way more for them recently. I back Sunderland heavily here. And so let's look through some of your questions then. Oh yeah, so David Strong, would you bench Ashley Cole? My other options are Wallace, GX or Brian Hughes. Right, okay. Rod Wallace pens but away from home. GX, home to Newcastle, I'll be playing him, I'll be playing Hughes. Do you know what? I probably would bench Ashley Cole from them. The only other one would be Wallace, but benching a forward on pens is dangerous, isn't it? I'd bench Cole. I think you're right. Adam English, evening guys, will tune in after a cool down from the Spurs game. No worries, buddy. Watch it on repeat. I just wanted to get this one out of the way. Remember, it's a Wednesday deadline again this week, guys, just because of the Christmas period. Hippier and Silvestra. Cole over. Yeah, I'd play Cole over Silvestra. I don't think Man United will keep a clean sheet. Holloway or Sullivan this week, do we think? From Cal. I'd be starting Sullivan, I think. I just think that's actually close, isn't it? I just don't trust Holloway. He might not even turn up. Sunderland aren't the best defensively, are they? I'd still start Sullivan, I think. Mo saying Sunderland and Charlton are the best attacking teams in his sims. Nice, okay. So that fits with what I was saying. Lots of goals for Charlton in the Watford game. Sunderland, I'd definitely have them really high up because Millwall are terrible. I just think Leeds probably should be pretty high as well for goals. And Arsenal. Pretty high. Blackburn too. I think yeah, Blackburn should do alright in that game. Yeah. If they're struggling to score and they're playing defensive though, Cal, that means they probably won't have that many shots. So what's the worst that can happen? Holloway gets 6. You know, still a chance Sullivan, even though Millwall are dreadful, might be able to muster some more shots. I don't know. They're pretty much exactly the same. I don't think you can beat yourself up whichever way you go on that one. Right, is there any other transfer rumours? Oh yeah, there's a couple. Keep firing any questions you've got, by the way. I'll see if I can answer them because I've run out of stuff to do. Dion Burton from Derby is rumoured to be going to Brentford, or Brentford are interested in him. Don't think anyone cares about that. We already did Steve Chettle, going to QPR potentially. Mark Birchall, Portsmouth to Newcastle. Did we already look at this? Last week, maybe. Okay. So, Carl Court owners. Don't know whether he'd come in and replace Court, but a new purchase, star player, plays for Scotland. It'd be a threat to him. So, yeah, that's one to watch. Can't see him challenging Shearer. Matthew Oakley from Southampton to Derby. We've already looked at that before. They're still interested in him. So that could still happen. And there is a slightly new one, which is actually quite interesting because he's decent. So let's see if... this happens. Charlie Miller, who's not bad. Not great stats there, but he can do alright. He's wanted by Middlesbrough. So if he came in, yeah, he'd be playing in centre midfield, wouldn't he? Which may cause a few... Most of the time they play a random centre midfielder there, but when they've got their full team, sometimes they have to fit Johnston in centre midfield because they want to play Gordon left wing and Cepeda right wing. That would probably put an end to that. I think Miller would probably play most games. Of course they could play Johnston and Miller, that's both attacking though, so I doubt it. Long story short, I think that ends Gordon at left wing if this happens, and probably cements him at left back, but then also pushes Fester into centre back and ends Pearce. But it could be that they just rotate all along those lines. You know, he plays for Scotland and he's decent. His price, I'm not sure what it would be if he came, because it's a tricky one. I have seen him do pretty well, but Middlesbrough have already got a lot of options, so have to see if it happens. John Shanley, triple Sunderland for me. Tone, Teal and Phillips captain. Like that, yeah, should do well. If I had hand pick who our captain would be this week, it would probably be Viduka or Phillips. May even edge towards Phillips because he's got the penalties, which you know I love. Henri as well. If you got Henri, I feel like Henri will do well in this game. We typically got rep 12 last game. People get pissed off and sell him as he's playing Man United, and then he has a masterclass. He could easily do well in this game. News from Perugia. It's not on my list, so that would suggest that they're no longer interested in, which is a real shame if that's the case. No, they're not. Damn. He would be way better than Miller. Not interested in him anymore. Mike captain Janssen this week. Saw from CM Fantasy's data that he's in the top couple of returners over the 20 sims this week. Yeah, the only slight bit of caution I'll give you that on that one. Sorry, I have spoken to CM Fantasy since. He's got in his sims there Blackburn attacking at home, which I wish they did. In our sim they don't. They only ever play normal at home. They're one of the very few teams that do that, even against the weaker sides. So as a result, I would expect the sim data there is bumped up quite a lot, because attacking at home is good and normal at home isn't particularly. So it could make a bit of a difference there. I don't doubt the Janssen is a great pick this week in a good game, but that's just something to bear in mind, that they will play normal mentality. They won't play attacking. Could be fun to avoid Van Nistelrooy. Yeah, I mean, he's so consistent, isn't he? He might get one, but I mean, I hope he does, because he's my perma captain. But yeah, I mean, especially on weeks like this. I mean, every week we've seen it. There's always been a fairly popular captain that has outscored Van Nistelrooy. He's just picking the right one. I think virtually every week. And this doesn't feel like a game you want to captain Van Nistelrooy in. I say that now. You know, we all know what can happen. Rip Sigalko, I know, Jack. Can't believe it. It's only like, say he was 37 or 47 or something. I think he might be 37. Yeah, sad story his actually. Many CM players from this era have got a sad story behind them. I can't remember if it was him where his brother died as well, and therefore he was like trying to raise money for charity and stuff. It could be one of the other guys that I've looked into. And then he's died of cancer, I think. So rip, yeah. Basically my best friend for about 20 years, that guy. Arca captain. Ooh. I mean, it would have been fantastic last week, wouldn't it? I don't see why not. I don't particularly like the idea of captaining midfielders because they're a bit sporadic. But if you're gonna do it, you know, this is a decent game. Can't argue with that. I probably just prefer it to Van Nistelrooy, maybe. But yeah, I think there are some better options. But if you don't have them in your team, you don't have them in your team. Right, is there anything else anyone wants to see before we wrap it up? Because that'll be almost an hour bang on that we've done. which would be pretty nice for once. I'll give you a minute just to put anything in the chat that you want to see or any questions. 1-1, I can't believe that. Damn, I was going to put Neto in my Sky team as well, and he got an assist. How annoying. Right, no more chat then. I think we're good. Thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure. Good luck for the game week. And yeah, say it will be this Wednesday, and then we return to normal after that. Yeah, I hope you all had a great Christmas, New Year's, all that jazz. And I shall see you on the next one. No problem, David. I'm off to continue the eating and drinking. Catch you guys later. Happy New Year.